Hello, and welcome to Let's Talk Spoop. I'm your host, Don, and today we're going to do something very special. We're going to review a new movie, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, which was just released on HBO Max, and I think in theaters as well. So this is a little bit different. I normally don't do more mainstream movies, and especially not ones when they first come out. But I'm a fan of the Conjuring series. Ed and Lorraine Warren are amazing when it comes to like what they did for paranormal studies and etc. So I was excited to watch this movie. I've not seen every one of them, I'll be honest. I've never seen Annabelle Comes Home, but I've seen all the rest of them, and I liked all of them. I think that the weakest one in the entire series is probably The Nun, but I enjoyed all of them, so I was excited to see this movie, and this movie did not fail to deliver. So as per usual on Let's Talk Spoop, we break things down into 6 separate categories. Those 6 separate categories are story, acting, music, atmosphere, look, and creep. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. So normally, when I talk about the story, I usually give you guys like a good breakdown on like the opening sequences and stuff like that, but I don't want to spoil this movie for anybody, so I'm going to try to be a little bit more vague than normal. But it opens with quotes. On July 18th, 1981, Ed and Lorraine Warren were called to document the exorcism of David Glatzel. He was 8 years old. So then there's some stuff about like the definition of bravery, which is kind of foreshadowing, and then this creepy scene of the child being possessed by the devil, supposedly. Lorraine getting some foreshadowing from her psychic powers, which they definitely went more into her psychic abilities, quote-unquote, in this movie than in the previous movies. So that was kind of different. I mean, I guess technically Conjuring 2 had a lot of stuff to do with her, like sensing the nun demon or whatever, but still, they went more into it in this one than I've seen in the previous ones. And then a priest shows up. They start the exorcism, and the priest gets knocked unconscious. It's hilarious, but also kind of scary, where like the demon causes things to fly around, and he just gets brained by a flying plate. And then Ed takes over the exorcism because he's a BAMF, and then he has a heart attack. And Ed's heart attack comes into play throughout the movie, which is why I brought this up. And the rest of the movie pretty much deals with the aftermath of what happened post this opening scene, in that the exorcism essentially is a failure. Somebody else gets possessed, and he murders someone, and then goes on trial for it. At first, I thought it was going to be kind of like The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which is another one of my favorite horror movies out there. It's a really, really good movie if you've never seen it. But that one deals a lot with like a court case where a person, where a priest gets put on trial for the death of one of his congregation. And I thought, oh, this would be interesting. They're going to do something similar to that. No, that's not what they did. So the story is kind of all over the place. There's a lot of random just sequences and things that are going on that are kind of, eventually it all draws together, but for a little while it's kind of hard to track. There's an ending twist that is completely predictable if you've been watching horror films for a long time like I have, but overall, the story's pretty good. 3 out of 5 for the story. Acting, as usual, for this franchise, the casting was great, the acting was well done. 5 out of 5. I love Vera Farmiga. She's amazing. So 5 out of 5. The music has some good classic rock and then good spooky music in these spooky moments, but nothing super special. 3 out of 5 for music. Atmosphere, it's creepy, but because of the kind of difficulty in tracking what's going on with the story initially, it kind of pulls you out of the creepy atmosphere. So not an amazing atmosphere, but still creepy enough. 3 out of 5. The look, so I really enjoyed that the priest's arrival in the opening sequence is shot to look like the arrival of the priest in the original Exorcist. It was a really nice callback. So good imaging there. The filming was well done. There's a little bit of creepy demons, a little bit of blood, It's all done fairly well, but nothing super spectacular to talk about as far as like special effects or monsters or anything like that. So 3 out of 5 for the look. Creep. There's a few good jump scares, and like I said earlier, do the kind of hard to track story pulling you out of the atmosphere. It's got a creepy atmosphere, but it doesn't have a super scary atmosphere. So 3 out of 5 for Creep. If you can't tell from all these numbers, you add those totals up, you get a 3.3 out of 5 for Conjuring on HBO Max.